Teacup slips white porcelain kisses tile, and before the shards even land, the little girl across the kitchen slides one step left, like she can see the danger coming, and out of my mouth, louder than I meant, comes the truth that changes everything. She's not blind. Priscilla Vale, the house manager, with a stare like a metal ruler, fills the doorway and asks what I just said. I fake a smile and tell her I said the kid is fine. I dropped a cup, no harm, and she nods like a judge who already wrote the verdict. Be careful, Renee, Mr. Whitmore values order. Then she leaves, and I'm on my knees with a broom shaking, not because of the mess, but because last time I spoke up in a rich house they called me a meddler and fired me by Friday, you know what I mean? That night the Whitmore mansion in Redwood Bay turns quiet in that expensive way. Money buys every clock, polite, every shadow, ironed flat. And I creep into Lily's room on soft feet, moonlight on the carpet. The kid asleep around a stuffed otter, lashes on cheeks, the color of warm bread. And on her nightstand, a tiny glass vial, no label, just LW13 in Sharpie. And here's the thing, I didn't finish nursing school, but I remember enough to be dangerous. So I pull a penlight from my apron, touch her eyelid, quick flash, nothing again, nothing. Pupils blown wide like marbles. Not blindness, something holding the door to sight open by force. So I back up and sit there breathing until my hands stop buzzing. Then I take photos of the vial and the clock and type notes in a locked app. Because if they try to paint me hysterical again, I'll have receipts this time. Yeah, that happened. In the morning, I go fishing for answers dressed up as small talk. The in-house nurse, Cassidy, is counting syringes when I ask who prescribes Lily's drops, because the cabinet's low, and without looking up, she says, Colin Mercer. In Chicago, the best. Mr. Whitmore flies him in or has him ship discretion. And that word hits the floor with a thud, because discretion has been the wallpaper in this house since I started, the kind that hides cracks until a wall caves. So I text my friend from school, the one who kept studying when I ran out of tuition money now, Tasha Nguyen at Bayshore. I send the vial photo and ask for a favor. She calls me instead of texting, her voice tight. Renee, what are you looking at? I say something I need you to test. Nothing about. This is legal. I'll get it to you. She asks if I'm safe, and I don't answer because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be calling. 2 days later, I wrap the vial in bubble wrap, mail it to her, and I watch Lily move through the hall with a glass of water, chin-tipping a hair to clear a shelf. Steps, landing clean, and the doubt I planted in myself grows legs while out in the city, the Northlight Foundation, Grant Whitmore's Pride Project, hangs banners and quotes on every wall about hope, the widower turned savior, telling the world how pain became purpose after the crash that took his wife. Donors cry, cameras flash, and he puts Lily on stage in soft dresses and sunglasses and says, "Courage is our family business." And I'm standing there in a black uniform, moving like furniture, thinking courage is telling the truth when the room is decorated to keep it out. The gala is called Hope in Focus. The ballroom smells like money pretending to be flowers, and I'm carrying trays past people who own islands, when Grant takes the mic in a suit that costs more than my car and pulls Lily close like a trophy. And I don't make a plan. I don't rehearse, I just feel my feet walk and my hand lift, and then my voice is in the speakers saying, "She isn't blind," not a whisper. Not a question, a sentence. And the room laughs, a nervous little laugh like church, when a kid blurts something honest, so I keep going. She's been chemically blinded with drops shipped by a doctor who got paid by this foundation, and Grant gives me the kind of smile a predator calls charm and asks, "And you are?" And I say, "Renee Porter." House staff, the woman who brought the lab report, and at the back doors swing open like the script just found its third act, and Tasha steps through with her badge and a blazer and a folder she holds like a flare. The drops suppress vision. No. Therapeutic reason for long-term use. And yes, the doctor received a consulting retainer from Northlight. And the sound around me is a collective inhale that doesn't know where to go, cameras popping like lightning. An investor I've only seen in glossy magazines stands so fast, his chair falls. Grant, is this true? And Grant barks a laugh and calls me a disgruntled maid with a friend from night school and orders security to remove us. And when the guards grab my arms, I say, "You can move me, but you can't move the truth in this folder." And that's when the mask tears. He leans in and says, "Don't play the race card." Renee, and my mouth goes hot. You already played my skin when you decided I wouldn't be believed. And before anyone can blink, Lily's voice, small but sharp, floats into a hot mic. "Daddy, I don't want the drops anymore. I want to see the sun." And maybe in that instant, he could have chosen to step back into being human. But instead, he raises his hand and slaps my cheek, not hard enough to break bone, just hard enough to break the story he's been selling. Sirens wail down. Market reporters smell blood, and an officer walks through orchids in panic and says, "Mr. Whitmore, you're under arrest for child endangerment and assault." And he looks at me like a man who lost his wife and doesn't know how to sit with pain unless it has an audience. Then he lifts his chin and tells me I have no idea what I've started, and I say, "Actually, I do the truth." The next 48 hours taste like burnt coffee and fluorescent light statements. Signatures, Lily clinging to my sleeve while child services tries to do their job, and the news trucks turn the curb into a parking lot of satellite dishes, my phone a wildfire of thank you and threats. You know what I mean? And then court arrives fast, because rich men pay for speed. The defense rolls out. A psychiatrist who speaks grief like Latin friends weep into microphones about Grant's generosity. And then the prosecutor plays a thumb drive from a former employee, and the room goes dead quiet, Grant's voice like ice water. They pity a blind child. When she's next to me, they open their wallets. If she's cured, the sympathy dries up. We can't afford that. You could feel the oxygen change. The defense tries to pivot to me, "Ms. Porter. Didn't you wash out of a medical program? Didn't you get fired once for accusing the wrong people?" And I tell them, "Yeah, I was punished for speaking up. And this time I took photos and timestamps and handed you a lab report because a child's pupils didn't respond to light. And also, you just heard your client reduce his daughter to a line item. So if you're asking whether I meddle in the direction of the truth. And the judge's gavel sounds like a door slamming on an old lie." Then Lily takes the stand feet, not touching the floor. Stuffed otter in one hand, and she says, "He told me to take the drops because people would love us more, but I want the light." And that's it. Some moments don't need a lawyer. The jury goes out, the jury comes back, guilty on child endangerment, guilty on medical fraud, guilty on securities fraud. And in my chest, a breath I've been holding for years finally leaves. Lily leans into me and asks if it's over, and I tell her the worst of it is. Winning in a courtroom is a chapter, not an ending. The custody hearing comes next in a smaller room with a softer clock. The judge, with eyes that see more than a file, asks if I understand. Guardianship isn't a reward. It's a responsibility, and I tell her, I've already chosen it. She gives us temporary with review and later permanent, and that afternoon we go to the ocean because promises deserve ceremony. Lily runs to the edge of Redwood Bay and squeals that it's bigger than she thought, and I swear the wind writes our names in the foam for a minute. Peace is simple. Then the world remembers, it has opinions. A talk show gives Grant a call in from county, and he cries on cue, "I was broken. I was misled, and people who want the powerful to stay shiny believe him." My door gets painted or in red. A woman in the grocery store grabs my sleeve and tells me she reported what was happening to her grandson because she saw my clip. He's safe now, and I cry in aisle 7 between cereal and paper towels that night. I say yes to a community center roundtable and tell a room full of tired, brave folks that courage doesn't delete fear. It holds a kid's hand and walks anyway. You could feel the room stand up inside itself. A documentary team follows us for a few days with Lily's permission. They film grilled cheese and homework, and the day the judge makes us official, and my knees go weak from relief. Hate mail still drops like hail. There's a letter from Grant. I keep in a drawer that says he's sorry, and I don't know yet whether sharing it would heal or reopen, so I let future me decide. Meanwhile, we build a small life that fits. School drop-offs, art class, church, the bay at sunset. And when strangers mutter liar, I remember how some people are allergic to the truth unless it flatters them. So here's my question for you, and I mean you not the comments section as a crowd, but you with your actual life and your actual lines in the sand. Does grief explain what Grant did or just try to excuse it? If a man without money did the same, would we be arguing about his heart on TV when have you seen silence dress up as politeness, so the wrong person could stay comfortable? And when you spoke up, what did it cost, and was it worth it? Tell me in the comments where you stand, push back. If you think I'm wrong, share the time you told the truth anyway, because light doesn't keep itself.